From amongst the Salaf is Ibn Qutaybah rahmahullah ta'ala. He has a book, Al-Ikhtilaf fil Lafz. It's a refutation against the Jahmiyyah. And Ibn Qutaybah, he mentions that this book that he's authoring and writing as a refutation against the Jahmiyyah is going to land upon the ears of three types of individuals. And actually, these three groups of people, they are three people or three types of people. Whenever the truth is presented to them, the people are always going to fall into one of these three categories. Every single last one of them. He mentions that my words, they're going to fall upon the ears of one of the following. So we need to choose which of the three we want to be like. He says the first is رَجُلٌ مُنْقَادٌ. رَجُلًا مُنْقَادًا is a man, he was dragged along by the people. He was led along by the people. He was led and he followed. He said, سَمِعَ قَوْمًا يَقُولُونَ فَقَالَ بِمَا قَالُوا. He heard the people saying something about the deen of Allah Azza wa Jal, perhaps about the sunnah of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, perhaps about the people of the truth, perhaps about the people of bid'ah. And he just says and repeats what he heard from the people. He just parrots. Allah Ta'ala musta'an. And then he mentions, فَهُوَ لَا يَرْعَوِي وَلَا يَرْجِعُ. This individual, he cannot come to the understanding of what he's saying based upon understanding and study, and he cannot return. And he mentions why. لأنه لم يعتقد الأمر بالنظر فيرجع عنه بالنظر. He did not arrive to this conclusion that he was upon based upon study and reasoning and conclusion of himself and knowledge. So because he did not arrive at that belief based upon understanding and study, it is almost impossible for him to come away from that erroneous belief that he's upon based upon studying, research and knowledge. Then the second individual, may Allah save us from these first two, this is probably the worst. And you find every single one of the people. Then he mentioned rahimahullah ta'ala that the second one that we ask Allah Azza wa Jalla to save us from, and he's the worst of them. He said, وَرَجُلًا تَمَحْ بِهِ عِزَّةً الرِّئَاسَةً. The second individual is a man who was overtaken by the desire, hopes and aspirations that he had to obtain and to maintain his position of leadership amongst the people. وَطَاعَةُ الْإِخْوَانِ. And he is beguiled by what he wants to maintain and to preserve or obtain from the obedience of his brothers. وَحُبُّ الشُّهْرَةِ. And he has with him an insatiable burning desire and love of fame. He says, فَلَيْسَ يَرُدُّ شَهْوَتُهُ. He cannot be taken back away from this falsehood that he's upon because his lowly desires would not allow him. And he cannot be turned away from what he's upon due to the fact his ego will not allow him. Nothing will take him away from that path that he has chosen for himself, إِلَّا الَّذِي خَلَقَهُ إِنْ شَاءَ. Except for the one Tabarak wa Ta'ala who created him. Should Allah desire for him to return to the truth, He Tabarak wa Ta'ala alone is the only one that can bring him back. He said, لِأَنَّ فِي رُجُوعِهِ إِقْرَارِهِ بِالْغَرَطِ. Because if he was to return back to the truth, he now has to admit the fact that he was mistaken. وَاعْتِرَافِهِ بِالْجَهَلِ. And naturally, once he admits that he's mistaken, he has to now admit the fact that he is ignorant in that affair, right? And that he was wrong. فَتَعْبَ عَلَيْهِ الْأُنْفَةِ. And he's overtaken now, and he will not be allowed to do so because his ego is in the way. And he says, وَفِي ذَلِكَ أَيْضًا. And from amongst the plights of such an individual, because he's absolutely trialed in his religion and his affair, تتشتت جماح وانقطاع النظام واختلاف الإخوان وعقيدتهم أن له نحلة والنفوس لا تطيب بذلك إلا من عصمه الله تعالى ونجاه. And he mentions, Subhanak Ya Rab, there's such an individual, from amongst the reasons that he cannot return back to the truth, that inside of his returning back to the truth, it contains inside of it the disbandment of his followers, that he's amassed and he's gathered, And that he feels that that which he has created from order amongst his following will now fall into chaos and into ruin. And the brothers that were around him, they will begin to abandon him from those that were connected to him upon such falsehood. And he says, and the souls are naturally averse to the like of this kind of dishevelment that he's in, except for the one that Allah Azza wa Jal protects, and He subhanahu wa ta'ala grants salvation. And then he said, and the third individual, may Allah make us from them, is رَجُلًا مُسْتَرْشِدًا. The third type of person when the truth comes to him is the man that truly desires at every stage to obtain and acquire the truth. يُرِيدُ اللَّهَ بِعِلْمِهِ وَبِعَمَلِهِ. He desires Allah by way of his knowledge and his actions. لَا تَأْخُذُهُ فِيهِ لَوْمَةَ لَائِمٍ. And he cannot be swayed from being upon that path of truth by the blame of the blamers. He's not dissuaded بِفَضْلِ ta'ala. You blame him, he doesn't care. Right? You speak ill of him, he doesn't care. He remains بِفَضْلِهِ subhanahu wa ta'ala upon the truth. وَلَا تَدْخُلُهُ مِن مَفَارَقَةِ وَحْشَةٍ. And he's not overtaken by in him leaving and abandoning the path that he was upon and those that he was with. He's not overtaken by a feeling of loss, and neither does he feel that he is alone. So he, bifadlillahi ta'ala, he has solace with the truth. And then he mentions, وَلَا تَلْفِتُهُ عَنِ الْحَقِّ أُنْفَةٌ. He's not taken away and turned away and dissuaded from the truth by having an ego. And he says, إِلَى هَذَا بِالْقَوْلِ قَصَدْنَا وَإِيَّاهُ أَرَدْنَا. And is this path that we've mentioned here in this third individual, this is what we ask Allah Azza wa Jal that our statements they be the basis of, and this is what we ultimately intend, and this is our goal in which we strive towards. May Allah make us from them, Ya Rabb. And Shaykh Rabi, he mentions in relation to those that have obtained the truth when it comes to them, because you find that the religion of Allah Azza wa Jal is tremendously easy in its origin. Many of the people, they come to know the truth, but they cannot follow it for the life of them. And he mentioned, Shaykh Rabi mentions, rahimahullah ta'ala, كثير من الناس يتعامى وتجاهل. Many of the people, they act as if they are blind.